Well, hi, welcome everyone. My name is Gordana and Rikic. I think that's not important, or you can call me Gotza. My friends call me Gotza, it's shorter and easier. And I'm a co-founder with Boschko. This is Boschko.
It says Gordana
So
Rikic.
yeah, it says Gordana Rikic, but it's Boschko because he's doing it from my computer. And we have been running our residency in Belgrade for the past 12, 13 years. And when pandemic started, nobody could travel, obviously. And then we decided to start a new format of the residency. And we started the virtual residency. And over time, we have been changing format because we noticed it's really hard to have like the same group of people every week. And then people get scared. They think they have to produce something within a short period of time. And then this also so like over time, we have been changing format and we noticed it's much easier if we are the constant and then we decided to be there every Sunday and then whoever wants can join us. So then over time, we got a group of people. This is our group of people and some of them are here, Kai and Osa and Paula, and do we have anyone else? And Pam will be joining us, so like she's there in the group. So the idea is to have a virtual space so that you don't really have to travel and it doesn't have to be like really a residency, but you get the essence from the residency. You get to do networking, to communicate with your like artists, friends, you get to meet new people from all over the world. And then also you get to get feedback on your work. So for example, if you're having just an idea, like you can share it with others and get like the feedback, like whatever like you're working on, it doesn't have to be finished project. So like the main idea is that like we're like focusing on the process. It's not just about the product, the end product and all this. It's, for example, from my experience while I was studying, it was such a good experience to have everyday friends to share what you're working on. And then like when you finish school, like you're a lot of time on your own. So this is kind of like a creating community of the artists where you can have a place to come when you can. It doesn't have to be every time. So we are there every Sunday. You're welcome to join us. And then it doesn't have to be every Sunday. So it's just a place to be and hopefully we can grow. So for example, I think we have a WhatsApp groups where we can share references and ideas, where we share a link for Zoom meetings, but also what I want to say. I'm sorry, I want to say so much at once. So like yeah, so the idea is we can grow this group. We have like I think more than 20 people in the group, but then like you can see like maybe it's like 5, 6 people that are showing up regularly, which makes it pretty easy to have, like everybody get to say something. If it's a big group of people, then it's hard that everybody have a time to say. So I don't know. Did I say everything? What do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Do you want to say something?
Asa, you say it. I think you were going somewhere.
You're good at saying things.
Yeah, no, I think you got everything. I actually thought if we were more people because it's like so unclear, like how many people are in this group. We don't really know. So we're exhibiting at supermarket here, 12 artists, but we're not 12. Like we might be 40, 50, 100, who knows? Like
yeah, but that's a good thing. Like we can grow eventually. Yeah. And then maybe over time, like we can have like separate groups that are thematically divided or something.
Yeah.
We never grew that big so far, but maybe in the future that can be an idea.
And it looks like we're going to have some exhibitions like this.
Yeah.
In the future, maybe not everybody is participating every time, but it's like a
it's a possibility.
Yeah.
So for example, this is the first time that we're participating here, and then we have like 12 artists that we're presenting, but then we will be in juxtapose, and then we still have time to decide exactly what we want to do.
Lots of time.
Yeah. And also like Teresa, she just started a residence in Valencia. So just started, like recently started, and now she has a studio space and a gallery space. So it's a possibility where we will present next, but like I'm just advertising your residency.
Thank you. Yes. If I could add something just to the virtual residency, it's been a really good experience for me. I first joined a while ago, but or kind of early on, and it was really helpful just to work through ideas, like Otso was saying. So for me, it's been a really nice experience to get inspiration, but also share my process and get feedback on a regular basis. So I can join as often as I need to get feedback. And also, if I'm feeling like, oh, I just want to listen in, I can do that too, which I often really enjoy. For me, the most important is like the flexibility. Like, so if you're, on holiday one weekend, it's not, you don't have any requirement to be there, and it's kind of come as you are when you can type of experience. So sometimes it's a small group, sometimes we have a lot of people, but the flexibility around it, especially like Gota mentioned about meeting people internationally. Most of us hadn't met each other in person. And I went last year to supermarkets when Gota was exhibiting, and I got to meet Asa and Kai in person, who I had only known previously through Virtual Studio Group. So it's been a really interesting opportunity to connect with people both virtually and then later have a connection to those people in real life. So it's been really, really wonderful for me.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm really happy that everyone enjoying. And then we have like artists from all over the world. Like, Teresa is from US and she lives in Valencia. Then we have Rosie from UK, Raymond from Ireland. Who is there? I don't see well.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
River is also here.
River's here.
US. Yes, so like it's like everywhere. I'm originally from Serbia, but now I live in Barcelona. So like now our booth says Serbia. I had to put something. So but it's international. That's like the main idea. That like it's artists from all over the world.
Yeah.
And like where are you from? Or now you're from here?
It's dual. Yeah, I live here for almost 4 years, July 2021. But I'm originally from Argentina, and then I moved to Israel, and from Israel to here.
Yeah. Everybody's moving around.
And I feel I'm citizen of the world.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable and fine and good.
Yeah.
We all do.
I think, yeah.
And I like cold. I'm lucky.
Oh yeah, good for you.
That's maybe the common denominator
Yeah,
of
it's
all
a
of us.
lucky day.
Yeah, we even had snow for 5 seconds. 5 seconds and then it gets.
It's called April weather here in.
Yeah, I heard that term.
Yeah. So like usually we discuss like either someone show their work so we can give them feedback, and then we chat and like we talk about art. But I thought like maybe this can be a good opportunity that since everyone are here, we have been discussing the last days like our setup of the exhibition and what we could do for Juxtapose. And then like for example, Kai mentioned that it's kind of like a little bit like, how did you say, kindergarten, what we have been doing.
Really nice.
In a cute way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a way that each artist is represented with a little bit, and then it was hard for transportation, so we decided to have prints, which is easier. So it's a little bit like kindergarten, like just a little bit. But then we have been thinking like, what would be the good idea? Like, of course, you all know, like with traveling, it's like hard for transportation to bring a lot. And then like we thought like maybe we can all share the experience of this, and you can all tell us what's your perspective on this, and like we get some good feedback. What should we use to juxtapose? Something like that. And you guys, you feel free to jump in. I'm talking too much.
Yeah, I mean, what do the juxtapose people suggest? For juxtapose.
I mean, I kind of love the idea of leaning into this, right? Because it's like, maybe I'll just briefly introduce what juxtapose is.
Yeah, please.
Some who don't know. We're another a weekend really for artist-run organizations to come together and do exhibitions, performances, talks. It's structured like an art fair, but we're actually crossing art fair out of our name this year, and we're really trying to work towards being like a support structure in a different way for the artist run in Aarhus, where we're based, but like with broader reach as well. And like the name juxtaposed is, you know, bringing different things side by side so you can better appreciate and understand the differences kind of between them. So we put a big emphasis on not just showing artist-run galleries, but like showing as many different kinds of artist-run projects and initiatives as we can to try and help people kind of figure out that artists self-organize in so many different ways and like take control over working conditions and you know, through also things like this, right? Creating communities.
Yeah.
And so like for us, it's like a really interesting question about the presentation in space. So it's like, how can you bring forward the work that you do in a way that like it doesn't all necessarily, like you wouldn't think that maybe everybody's a gallery, that you can actually walk around the space and get a sense that like artists also run residencies and, you know, have performance groups and do all these different kinds of work. So I remember like when we were having a meeting about this like a month or so ago, I was kind of like, maybe just like, can we have a screen? Like, can we do some Zooms or can we do like some, because I actually think it's really interesting to also like showcase this in a way.
Yeah.
But then the question is, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Right?
But that's a super interesting perspective.
Yeah. But I mean, it's amazing to show the work too, and it doesn't mean like, oh, don't show work, because we also love showing artists' work. That's super important. But I think it's also about showing artistic work, artistic labor, and like how we self-organize and why. Because it's like we also think about it as an educational event. That's not the word we're going to stick with. But like
More than
with the ambition of trying to help audiences discover, you know, that artists do all sorts of stuff, right? So I don't know, maybe that helps us brainstorm with you.
Yeah.
It really
That's
does.
a great idea. Like have a screen the whole time and maybe like have ongoing Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe screen works. So
Yeah, maybe
I don't set them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not screen a painting someone cannot send because it's too big
Yeah.
or too difficult to send, too expensive to send?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also we can have like recordings of these meetings. Now we thought it would be smart to have like QR codes, but I think everybody are just like it's too much information. And then on top of that, to do all the QR codes, it's too much. So like
Maybe just screen is better than QR code.
yeah.
How about like some kind of live online presentation that one artist does on screen and to get like live feedback right there on the spot and as some kind of a like half hour to an hour performance?
Yeah. Yeah, I also thought it would be a good idea to do some kind of interviews, but it doesn't have to be like interview that you have to come ready. And it could be like some kind of informal talk that we can record and then like replay on the screen. So like to add up over the.
I once participated in an exhibition that it was all in the city. There were no galleries, nothing. It was like one artist made an exhibition in
Oh, flower shop.
flower shop maybe, and the other one. So that's what something I have been thinking about. We're talking about doing it in cities, for example.
Yeah, that's really.
It's
Yeah,
it's
nice.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I also had this great idea that we still need to develop. Like you guys, we didn't have a chance to talk. Like two of us have been talking over these few days, like how we could maybe create a work that is more like one work that everyone contributes. So which ways we could do this? Like maybe you can say what you
No, I had this idea because I like the booths here that have something like kind of big and impactful. And so I was thinking, I don't like the fact that we just choose one person out of all of us. It seems like that's not what we do, like just one person thing. But I was thinking that how could we create something big but together? And I had this idea of maybe, I mean, it's very unclear. It's not a final idea, but maybe, we decide to create a big image of an apple, whatever. And then I contribute to this one corner of the apple. That's what I do, like digitally or something. And then another person does this part and something like this.
Burning Man, maybe.
Burning Man.
Like in the desert, this.
Yeah.
No, we don't burn it. We could.
You could do the exquisite corpse. Do you know the exercise when you one person does the head and then the other person does the
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Something like that.
The word that the people need to guess.
No, the one where you fold, like I draw the head and then I fold it and you draw the body. Is that what you meant, Rosie?
Yeah. It's called the exquisite corpse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's like a game.
Man viker papper. Det först rita ett huvud och sen...
Yeah, I don't have a word for that in any language.
Yeah, or it could be like a theme, like a color or something that we all use, or material that we could all use in some way, so that there is some connection between the works or something like, I don't know, like it's still open for discussion, just an idea we have been talking about. And then maybe everyone can introduce yourselves and then tell us what you do, and like you start, you're one of ours. No pressure.
I joined not so long ago and I had to be a bit out of it now because I'm with Detroit, Stockholm, so I couldn't do both. I didn't feel like but I will be back. What should I say? What I do?
Well, you can say like what you're exhibiting here.
So I'm exhibiting videos I make with an AI program. I'm not a techie person, but I can say I'm multidisciplinary because I like trying all kinds of materials, and it's been like this for a long time. And I got this Dream Machine by Luma. I don't know if you know. It's a program, AI program. And I put my own work, my own paintings and drawings, and prompt with instructions. But the thing does what it wants. So you can do copy paste to the same instructions and it will do something different.
It's making videos.
Videos. Yeah. It's from image to video. Yeah. So I'm showing these and an installation I made around it. So I like to experiment with dolls and flowers. So I built this for this exhibition new. Now ready made and shit. I see in the streets and I would like to.
Yeah, but it's fun to see your paintings coming alive.
And new neighbors at the studios. I just things.
Yeah,
how they are.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is like such an interesting contrast, like I was telling her yesterday, because like it all looks cute and like, like made for the kids, and then but then like there is like this contrast because like AI made it a little bit spooky.
Yeah.
So like everything is cute like this, but then like it becomes like in a dream that it's shifting and changing.
Yeah, the thing is that it's the fact that it's called the Dream Machine, and when it's thinking, it says dreaming. So you're like, poetry. But I like 3D. So I've been working with dolls for a long time. So yeah, I have this small one there. You can look at it.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It's your store. I found in a secondhand shop these frames, and I used that, the self-drying
the clay.
And I used a small doll, and I used the feet and the hands to make imprints on them. And then I mixed the hands and the legs. I like to play with the dolls in a bit. It's fun. I felt like a kid.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, should I continue?
Yes.
I'm Wafsa, and I'm a member, obviously, of virtual studio groups, but also with Paula at George Stockholm, so studios and gallery space in Stockholm. And I work mostly with my character, the fuzz dog. It's like a troll that's there. I've been working with it since 2017. More and more like fixating on this. So now it's pretty much all I do. This appears everywhere now. That's whenever I have an idea, I'm like, no, it has to be there. I have to do it. And I actually got from this virtual studio groups, I got a lot of great ideas. So I went to Teresa's residency in Valencia. I also went to residency in Belgrade through this group. And when I was in Valencia, I was thinking like, how can I use what's there in Valencia? What you have is like the beach is amazing, right? That's why people go. And so I wanted to do like, how could I do art in Valencia? And then I remembered this land artist that I actually met in London from Lacuna Festival.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And Sergi.
Simon.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I asked him for some advice, like how can I, how do I do this if I've never done land art before? And he gave me some great advice. And then I did this thing, a drawing like in the sand of my figure. And after, when I thought it was really big, like 5 meters or something.
Yeah, I saw the
I
photo.
think maybe a bit more than 5 meters. It was enormous.
I went huge.
Yeah, but it was invisible from the
sky. Yeah,
the drone.
yeah, I had to shoot it with it because you couldn't see it from the ground.
Yeah.
It was just anyway, so when I did that, we were talking about, like, I showed it to the group afterwards, and I got these great ideas like on doing it in the snow, which I said I didn't have time this year before the snow went away, but I did do it in autumn leaves, like fallen leaves on this big lawn. And that idea wasn't mine. It came from the virtual studio group. So
I remember that meeting.
yeah, it's really good. So I'm very, I'm very happy with this setup. You get all kinds of new ideas. Yeah, so that's me. Do you want to go on, or are you just like, where did I end up? What's on?
It's interesting. So my name is Anko. I'm here with the artist collective. We are 5 artists working as a group. Our sort of authorship is shared, so we do everything together when we're working with the collective. And here we have the media installation makeout car. That's a media installation in a car. Yeah, and we have been working together for about 10 years now. So we all do our own individual artistic practice, but nowadays we do tend to work mostly together because it's fun. And we used to have a gallery space as well, but now we want to concentrate on the artistic work. And we are very eager to sort of expand and find new contacts and maybe some exchange or all this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, thank you. This is what we need to hear your experience with working as a collective. But do you make like one work all together?
Yeah.
Or yes, that's what we need to hear.
Yeah, we do that all the time. Yeah.
And how does that work? Like in which way you're contributing towards the work? Like do you have like your own tasks to finish, or you contribute with idea and someone is executing?
No, we are very collaborative group. We work all the time. We have like every week, at least once a week, we have a kind of meeting or a workshop of kind. And we have this kind of we have different projects going on all the time, and we are sort of advancing them. And there's no like anybody could do anything, and we don't we don't ever sort of it's not how to say it. We don't say who did what.
Yeah.
It's always just like a united thing, and that's very important with us. Yeah, we want to keep it in a whole. And of course, we have to communicate and talk a lot, and of course, you have to make compromises sometimes.
Yeah.
But we've been working for 10 years, so it's working really well. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, we're all very close friends nowadays. It didn't start as like a friend group we did together, but we were just separate artists who, and we after like graduation, we needed something. There was no like a kind of a mentorship. So we started getting together and just talking about our own works and stuff like that. And then we realized that, okay, we think we want to move to similar directions. So we decided to do stuff together, try how does it work? Can we do something together?
Oh, perfect. I hope you join us sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds interesting what you're doing. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my name is Heidi Arninen-Mattila from Finland. I'm a painter, I make installations too. And I usually work alone. It's a lonely profession. But I'm here with Gallery Ulta, and we made this collaborative installation with our 11 artists. So I haven't really worked in a group before. I haven't really done any collaborative work much before, but it's been really fun to work with other people and not be completely alone. Yeah, so I wanted to join this conversation because I really like to have some kind of like collective and maybe get some feedback and meet people on Zoom or wherever you meet. And yeah, it sounds really interesting. I like what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, join us. Yes, at the end, maybe we can all read emails. So like I can send you a follow-up email and everything.
I think you have to speak a little bit louder.
Can you hear us? Do we need to speak louder?
I can hear you fine.
I can hear you
think-
fine as well.
Okay.
Yeah, loud and clear.
I'm always yelling.
Yeah, me too. I'm also here.
Yeah, so shall we continue?
Sure. Well, you've already heard from me a little bit. So I'm co-director Juxtapose with Cecilia. But we only actually work on Juxtapose 1 or 2 days a week. So I also work at a residency called the Maltair. And as a residency coordinator for that. And then I also work at a professional resource center that the municipality where we live, it's like
You're like, don't buy snacks.
What's that? Oh. Anyways, but yeah, so artists can come to us also for feedback on applications and just project ideas, and we do like networking and workshops and stuff like that. No, it's in Aarhus, and
Can we connect you?
we have a focus on the artists and
On
networks,
those.
but I do most of the international networking and research and stuff, and we do a lot of like collaborations. So you can always just
I can reach out.
yeah.
I need the email.
Yeah. So anyways, that's enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm Hanna. I'm also from Finland, and I'm here with the Arts Center Antares, which is located in Kouvola, southeast Finland. And but mainly, if I joined this conversation because I was also like interested about like having the feeling or the benefits of residency without always able to travel. So I was really curious about this project as well. So I work as a visual artist, but then I've been working by myself quite a lot, and I have some collaboration projects there and there, but mainly it has been quite like solo stuff. But for the same reason, to get feedback and meet like-minded people, or kind of like sharing the same interest. I went to study at the moment, so at this point I'm doing my master's at the University of Helsinki. Not University of Helsinki, but University of Arts Helsinki. So this is really interesting, but in a way, that's kind of like fulfilling my life at the moment. But like in the future, I find it really important that you can continue sharing the thoughts and like somehow schedule your life also by some other colleagues.
Yes, thank you. Hope you joined us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yes, so I'm Cecilia, and I am originally from Norway, and I live in Aarhus, Denmark, and I've been there for 10 years. And I work with TAM on Juxtapose, and I've been doing that since 2021. And besides that, I work on the Jutland Art Academy on this.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Kelly Lloyd. I'm from the US, but I've been living in the UK for the past 6 years. I'm an artist. I make all the things artists make, and
I'll start using it.
A bit of paintings and installations and sculptures and writing and stuff. I am here as a researcher. I have an interview project where I interview people in the arts about their livelihoods. I've interviewed maybe like 112 people so far, including Pam. And so I'm here really just listening to all different kinds of people, thinking about maybe, where to interview people next, things like this, but also just thinking through artists' livelihoods and I've worked with collectives a lot, a number of collectives or collaborative projects, and never on the same thing though. We don't make art together. I don't think I ever want to do that with anyone. But a lot of it has been around like public programming, and some of it was online. But then that kind of so I'm quite interested in how it. And some of the online programming kind of pre-existed COVID, and some of the online programming didn't really survive after COVID. So I'm interested in how manage to continue. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Where are all the interviews? Like on YouTube somewhere?
Yeah, they're online on the website. The project's called This Thing We Call Art. I can write it down on a sheet of paper.
Yes. Is it also written interviews, or all of them are filmed?
The interviews that I've gotten permission to share, I have excerpts online, maybe about like 75 of them. And so they're audio, but also with transcripts online, and like bios of artists and things like this.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Stuart, do you want to jump in also?
Yeah.
You're
here.
You're an artist.
Yes, Stuart, outside of being the coordinator of meetings program, I'm a visual artist. Originally from the UK, but now living in Sweden. And running a kind of artist-run thing that used to have a showroom, and now it's project-based, so I don't have the showroom anymore. I realized in listening to your discussion that actually I do kind of one-to-one virtual studio visits with a colleague who I knew when they lived in Uppsala or Plum, and now they live in Malmö, but we continue to what we call studio visits, and with artists in the UK who I actually met through our online blogs. We were both writing blogs for the same UK-based art website. And she's been over and visited me here in Sweden, and just today, her work has arrived in the UK. My parents are going next week to then bring back to Sweden to take to Juxtapose. So, and we have online kind of meetings, but it's not formalized like yours are, but just made me think about that.
That's a great idea. I mean, like we could rethink also like to have one-on-one meetings, and that people can like people who have similar kind of themes or yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I like kind of the group kind of one as well.
Yes, you should join us also.
And I need to put you in touch with Yeva from Takeover, who had the talk this morning. She is talking about they're in Beirut in Lebanon, and they no longer have a space, but during the war, they got approached by a British-based artist-run initiative saying, how can we help you, what can we do to support? And they started this online collaboration, and they're trying to explore also the relationship between the virtual and the real presence, the artist experience, and also thinking from a point of view of sustainability, how one can be in other places, how can have presence in other places without impacting the environment, and also one's own sustainability. One doesn't have the finances or resources to travel somewhere. So again, kind of things that you're talking about here. So I'll definitely put you in touch with each other as well.
Yes, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my turn. My name is Kai. I'm originally from Finland, but it was 1990 I moved. First to Sweden, then I lived a little bit in Norway, then I lived in 15 years in Brussels. Now I'm partly here in Stockholm, partly in Sitges, close to Barcelona. But in Gothenburg, Sweden, I worked with an artist-run space quite many years, and then I also participated in a group. We worked a lot, always together, like. Anyway. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of old, but I've been around.
You're not. And we met in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And we got connected. So we joined, but then like we get to meet all over. Like,
Yeah.
you're one night here. Do you want to say something since you're here?
I can just say that I'm an art student right now, and this is so educational for me to just hear about this kind of knowledge of how to manage being an artist in the world, and so I'm inspired and feel more hopeful.
Yeah.
I want to sign up on that.
Yes. Yes. Are you just started or?
I just started. I mostly do like analog photography, but I love every kind of like video. Installation. Yeah.
How does it work here? Sorry for the stupid question. I mean, like every country has different system of like art schools. So like if you choose photography, you can just do photography or you can expand or.
I'm going like this, I don't know the exactly Swedish word, but like preparation school, like it's 2 years preparation like, before you go to the fact like art, high art. Yeah. So it's free art. You study different kind of courses in different areas.
Amazing. Oh,
Yeah, the education system is very hard in Sweden because most of the people who study at the university level has already gone through 1 or 2 schools before that, so it's quite many years.
You need to really know how to apply.
Yeah.
The application system is like 14 places.
I've seen one of these preparatory schools in Gothenburg. I was invited to be like a guest lecturer for like a week there. And I thought it was an amazing school because they get to invite like artists from all over the world to be guest lecturers. And students are amazing, like different ages, like some are younger, some older, like some are switching careers, I guess. But it was like really great experience. Like everybody were so nice and like they had such a great opportunities to try different things. They had kind of like different departments, like sculpture and painting, and I think like media something, but I think they could use resources from all different departments. So that was like really great. So I love Swedish school system.
So,
It's great if you get it.
I had the residency in Japan, Tokyo, and they invited me to a school to talk about my work. But then I asked the lady of the residency, what kind of school is this? Yes, it's the biggest art school in the world. So it was like huge campus, and they had a kind of gallery or something, five stories, vast, beautiful. And then standing there, talking to 3,000.
Wow. That's huge.
That's
scary.
Private.
Yeah.
Is it private?
School? No, I think it's actually art university.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I'm not sure how it goes there. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
Because I've heard that the best art universities in Japan, they are private.
Yeah.
And they are not.
I don't really know. I don't know. It was interesting.
But I was also curious what you were saying about like how that have you managed to keep up like the amount of people joining the meetings like throughout the year or so? Because I have also this kind of experience that like people get excited about like this kind of meetings and especially Corona, but then it's kind of like how has your history gone?
I think some people have been regular, but then some people like depends like like how things in life change. So like sometimes you don't have time for this, but then like in some period you do have, but then like so like some people are not so regular. But yeah, you're right. During pandemic, people get more excited because everything stops, and then like this is where your focus is. But I think that's why we decided like we have to be regular. So someone has to show up, and then like there is a place where you can come. So like Boschko and I have been putting effort that we are there every Sunday, and then everybody else can decide if they want to show or not. But yeah,
How does that changed your life to have to be somewhere to steward a space?
We decided it's Sunday evening. I usually hate Sunday, nothing is happening, especially in Spain. Like in Spain, everything stops, like the life stops because it's Sunday. I mean, like you cannot go shopping or doing anything like that, but like you can enjoy life. But like Sunday evening, it's usually slow, especially in winter. And I know that's a good time for everyone. Well, with the time differences, that's obviously different time for different people. But like for Europe, Sunday night, it's like people are usually free. Like if it's Saturday, everybody are somewhere. So Sunday it's kind of like slow and like so it's Sunday at 8. Put it in your calendar.
Are you demanding something? Is this for free, or how do you?
Yes, so it's like everyone can join, and like we usually like to keep like the culture of, so it's kind of like more to recommendation. We were hesitant to advertise it, but I think it's like word of mouth is better. Like now we kind of know each other, so like you decide if you like us or not, and if you want to join or not. So then like we continue like in the same energy, because I feel it's like very spontaneous. Everyone are open. It's like we don't have any formalities that it has to be certain things. It's kind of like very friendly atmosphere. I feel like we just share and talk, and it's so relaxed that like I'm looking forward every Sunday. Like it's kind of like you're going to go and meet friends. So it's kind of like I have a thing on Sunday, and it's kind of like changed my life for the better in that way. That like I'm looking forward to this. Like I don't know, guys, you want to jump in, say something?
Yeah,
maybe you can present yourself also.
I thought I'd maybe say hi because I have to go soon, but as you can see, it's very flexible. I'm joining from the car here, so but my name's Rosie. I'm an artist based in the UK. I live in Cornwall at the moment, but
we lost you.
Oh, can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me okay?
Not really. The sound is late, so it's kind of like broken.
Oh no. Hello. Oh man, that's the problem of joining from the car.
We heard that.
Okay. Well, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I joined we started doing this residency. Well, I joined through the Belgrade
Yes, she was in
artist residency. So I was the artist in residence in January
here.
2024. And it's really beneficial for me because I am an illustrator as well. And I wanted to kind of keep the kind of fine art world. So a lot of my other work has to be very
Okay.
We lost you again.
And I'm working commercially or for other clients. So for me, this is a really lovely freedom to explore my person. Oh no! Maybe
the sound is late. Yeah, the sound is late. We heard half of it approximately.
Basically, all I want to say is this has been really beneficial to me, and I've made some amazing friends.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I'll show people your work.
Seeing every Sunday. I've never met any of them. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. Like, people can join like that. You don't have to stay the whole meeting. Like, you can be just like how much time you have. Teresa, you want to say something? Is your connection better?
Yeah, I came back home. I was actually in the studio before this, so I'm very dirty right now, but I'm fine. So, stable connection. Yeah, I'm the coordinator and director of the local air art residency here in Valencia. I'm also a multidisciplinary artist myself. I came to know Gotza through attending the Belgrade Air, and actually I didn't meet her in that, like I met her at the very end of it, and we communicated though really well, and I knew Boschko on the ground in Belgrade, and Gotza invited me to come after we had known each other for a few years. And then I went back to Belgrade for another residency, and this had the virtual studio groups had already started kicking off as the virtual residency. And it is something that's really been helpful for me. And I explained already a bit, but one thing that I enjoy is when you're working alone, like I typically work alone on my artwork. I don't typically collaborate with a lot of other people, or I mean, group shows, sure, but to work on one piece together, it's complicated. And this is really my first time working on a collective piece, even though there are parts that are quite separate and independent. But the virtual studio group helps you to work through like these little concepts that you're questioning, and to get feedback within, during the process of creation or after. I asked when I asked for feedback on the last thing that I did was actually the setup for Supermarket, and it was for my webpage, and it was like these are the elements I want to add, and everyone gave such great feedback that you can appear from your studio, you can appear from a car like Rosie did, but no matter where you're at, like you have the opportunity. Like Raymond is in his studio workshop at his home right now, and River often joins us when she's working on something. So she's also bopping around and working on pieces and joins in to listen, to add feedback. And so from my experience, it's been really nice because you're able to present whatever it is that you're working on, or even just concepts for how should I display this online in the most minuscule ways as well. And then it's very inspiring. You see your virtual friends working on pieces, and you never know what's going to inspire you to create something new. And you get to see what people are working on all around the world. So for me, that is something really exceptional. And then of course there's the like Gotze was explaining, you start to have this communion with other people and you really do become friends. You're interested in how people are, not just like what they're working on. So it becomes a lot more personal. And then you get the chance to meet up with people occasionally in real life. We have people, other people in the US and in Canada as well, and across Europe. And hopefully soon we'll have some from Asia, but it's because of the time difference, I think it is complicated, but Gus has done a lot of work to kind of make it work for different time zones. And so flexible enough that anyone can join. And it's long enough that if you can join in for half an hour or an hour, or the full time we usually go like around 2 hours. So there's a lot of flexibility with it, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, it's hard to stop once we start. Like, it's kind of like we have 2 hour limit because like we have to have some limit, but usually once you start, like sometimes an hour feels like too little, and then like we get to 2 hours, and we're using free version of Zoom. Now we're rethinking we should maybe pay, but it's kind of like a nice break, like 40 minutes break. You get to get some water and then come back. So yeah, it's not bad to have 40 minutes break. Like, it's kind of like in school, you know, like 45 minutes, the bell, and we start again. And I see Raymond is working on something. Like, Raymond, you want to say a few words?
Yes, I'm actually out in my garden working away on something because the sun's shining in Ireland and it's a bit of a rare thing. But here, look, there's one of my friends. It's I live really rural, so a group like this is very good, you know, because, well, there's many ways of staying in touch with the world, and this is one of them. I'm probably the baby of the group in terms of I joined last, I think. So I'm still learning about it, but I'm finding it a very good experience, and the people who come online every week are great as well. I hope you can understand my accent. But
yes,
basically, I work multimedia. If I have a project to do, you know, I find an idea and a way to do it. So you know, I do audio visual stuff. I make soundscapes. I sculpt and I paint, and I do a lot of community work. And I heard somebody else talking about writing. So I have a few books out about my work and also about other artists that I worked with, particularly in Israel and Palestine. And yeah, that's what I do. I'm working away here at the minute, just making some stuff I do awards for a film festival. So it's kind of bread and butter money, you know, for the Celtic Media Festival. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I think I've said all I need to say.
Thank you so much.
I wish I was in Sweden, because then I could say, Hurma du, jamo bra, tack så mycket.
Very nice.
Nice.
I lived in Uppsala for a while on a Erasmus scheme many years ago.
Nice.
That was Swedish I learned, apart from how to ask for a pint, which was stor skulk. So
nice.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much.
Oh,
Thank you so much. We're about to finish.
you.
Maybe, like, I don't know if River and Bosch want to say just a few words, because it's kind of like we're supposed to finish by 7.
Well, let's maybe say something, because you can introduce me to the world. You're there and you know me. But
I'm like his PR.
well, you're also
River, please just show, like, say something.
Sure, something. Hello.
Something.
Yeah, I also wish I were in Sweden right now. I was trying to make that work because this is just such a wonderful opportunity. But I am very happy for this collaborative to exist because, like the others have been saying, it really is that opportunity to connect with people across the world, with artists across the world. And if we're artists, we're communicating like art in many ways is communication. We're trying to communicate a thesis or an idea or a feeling, and you need an audience for it. You need you can make art just for yourself, right? But in many cases, we're trying to make art for others, and so to hear how others feel about it when they look at it, or how it, that chemistry that happens when somebody else sees what you're working on, it's just unmeasurable. And to get those perspectives from everybody in this virtual collaborative around the world, like, it makes the world smaller in a good way and closer and more comfortable, but it also makes kind of my art feel bigger because it feels like it's communicating to humanity. I understand how it lands on somebody who's in another time zone, coming from a different context. And in many ways, we find more connections, like a lot of people are working on some of the same themes, and it just makes me feel that sense of community. And I'm really thankful that we're able to do something virtual like this, because I think before the pandemic, I could never have envisioned that I would feel connected to people like this just virtually, right? So, yeah, I mean, I guess for myself, I do a lot of kind of mixed media, installation art, some digital stuff. I dabble in different mediums. But thematically, I do a lot of kind of myth and story that are kind of anciently human. And that's another way in which sharing my perspective and my interpretation of those myths with people with all kinds of backgrounds, where they're like, hey, you know what, in my culture, there's this one particular thing that sounds like, and then we go off on another avenue. It's just been a really beautiful way to feel connected across the world. So I really love that my voice right now is being heard in Sweden. Like, it's just, it's a really cool thing. And, in Ireland and in Barcelona, so it's just, yeah, what a time that we're living in. I feel like this is kind of the best of that. There's a lot of bad things, but this is the best of that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much all for joining today. It was really great. And thank you all for being here. I think we need to finish because we're supposed to finish at 7, but hopefully they're all joined and then you get to talk more next time. I'll get their contacts, and then, like, I don't know, if you want, you can stay connected, but I'll have to.
Please.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.